My neighbor drives a 14-year-old luxury SUV with 247,000 miles on the clock. He bought it used for $22,000 back in 2016, and in nearly 10 years of ownership, he has spent less on repairs than most people spend rebuilding a single German transmission. That is not luck. That is engineering. After 22 years turning wrenches on every luxury badge you can name, I have figured out exactly which luxury SUVs are genuinely cheap to own long-term and which ones are wealth-destroying machines wearing leather and wood trim. Today, I am counting down 3 luxury SUVs that cost almost nothing to own. Buy one of these once, and you are driving it forever. Number 1 is the SUV nobody expects to see on this list. Let's get into it. Number 3, Acura MDX. Third on the list is a luxury SUV that mechanics secretly recommend to their own parents, and you can grab a clean one right now for under $20,000. Last spring, a customer of mine, a general contractor with 2 teenage kids, came in wanting my opinion on a 2019 BMW X5 he found at a dealer for $28,500. It had 71,000 miles on it, and the sales guy was telling him that BMWs are built to last. I asked him to send me the vehicle identification number. I ran it, pulled the service history, and called him back within an hour. I told him not to buy this vehicle. That X5 has the N63 V8 engine, which burns oil, eats timing chain guides, and will cost him $4,000 for an engine gasket job around 90,000 miles. You will be back at a dealer buying another car in 3 years. He asked me what I would put him into for the same money. I texted him a link to a 2018 Acura MDX with the technology package, 62,000 miles, asking $22,800. He bought it. That was 14 months ago. Total repairs since then, $340. An oil change, a cabin filter, and 1 tire rotation that the dealer threw in for free. Here is what the average luxury buyer does not understand about the 3rd generation MDX from 2014 to 2020. Acura is just Honda with better seats. That is not an insult. That is the whole value proposition. The 3.5-liter J35 V6 under the hood is one of the most proven engines in modern automotive history. It has been in production in various forms since 1998. Honda has had more than 2 decades to refine it. It is naturally aspirated, meaning no turbochargers to fail at 80,000 miles like half the luxury market. It produces 290 horsepower without breaking a sweat. And in my shop, I have seen these engines cross 300,000 miles on nothing but regular oil changes and 1 timing belt replacement. That is the one catch. The J35 uses a timing belt, not a chain. You need to replace it around 100,000 to 105,000 miles. Budget $1,100 for the belt, water pump, and accessory rollers all done at the same time. Skip that service and the engine will eat itself. Do it on schedule and the engine will easily hit 250,000 miles. The 2016 and later models use Acura's 9-speed automatic, which had some early shift quality complaints but proved mechanically durable. The 2014 and 2015 models use a proven 6-speed that is about as bulletproof as automatics get. Either way, you are not gambling on a dual-clutch unit that will need $6,000 clutch packs at 70,000 miles. Current market prices tell the real story. A 2018 Acura MDX with the technology package and around 70,000 miles is running $19,000 to $23,000. The same year Audi Q7 with worse reliability and double the repair costs is still asking $32,000 to $37,000. That is a $13,000 gap for a vehicle that, in my 22 years of experience, costs roughly 1/3 as much to keep on the road. When you shop for one, here is your inspection list. First, confirm the timing belt service history. If it has not been done and the vehicle is past 90,000 miles, subtract $1,100 from the asking price. Non-negotiable. Second, test the super handling all-wheel drive system in a parking lot. Turn the wheel all the way, drive a tight circle, and listen. Any clunking from the rear differential means the fluid was never changed, and you are looking at a $1,600 rear differential rebuild eventually. Third, check the suspension. The MDX has adaptive dampers on higher trims, and they do fail around 120,000 miles. Bounce each corner. If it keeps bouncing after 2 cycles, a damper is dead. Budget $600 per corner. Bottom line, the MDX is a Honda Pilot in a tuxedo, and that is the highest compliment I can give a luxury SUV. But if the Acura is the smart play, this next one is arguably the single best dollar per mile luxury SUV ever built in the modern era. Number 2, Lexus RX 350. This is the luxury SUV that changed the entire segment, and its reliability has become so famous that used prices are finally starting to reflect it. But even at today's prices, the math still works beautifully in your favor. I have a soft spot for the 4th generation Lexus RX, the 2016 through 2022 models, because I have now personally seen 6 of them cross 250,000 miles. 6. And I am talking 0 major engine or transmission work. One of them belongs to my sister-in-law. She is at 218,000 miles on her 2017 RX 350. The only non-wear item she has ever replaced is a starter motor, which cost her $480 installed. That is it, in 8 years of ownership. Here is the beautiful secret Lexus does not want loudly advertised. The 3.5-liter 2 GRF KS V6 in the RX 350 is the same engine family that Toyota puts in the Highlander, the Camry Vi6, the Sienna minivan, and the old Avalon. It is the most battle-tested V6 Toyota has ever produced. Timing chain-driven, no turbo, direct injection paired with port injection to prevent the carbon buildup issues that plague BMW and Audi engines at 60,000 miles. Lexus engineered this powertrain for durability first and performance second, which is exactly backwards from the German competitors. The 8-speed automatic transmission that Lexus paired with it starting in 2016 is sourced from Kaizen, the gold standard of automatic transmission manufacturers. I have never in my career had to open up one of these transmissions for internal failure, not once. Contrast that with the ZF 8-speed in comparable BMW X5 vehicles, where I have rebuilt 3 of them in the last 2 years alone. Now let me hit you with the numbers that matter. A 2018 Lexus RX 350 with 75,000 miles is currently trading between $28,000 and $33,000. That sounds like a lot until you price the direct competitor. A 2018 BMW X 535i's with the same miles is $26,000 to $30,000, so you might think you are saving money. RepairPal data shows the BMW X 5 averages $1,166 in annual repairs versus $550 for the RX. Over 10 years, that is a $6,160 gap, and I would argue the real-world gap is much wider, because the BMW figure does not account for the people who simply give up and trade the vehicle in at 90,000 miles. Ownership data from Consumer Reports and iSeeCars consistently ranks the Lexus RX as the luxury SUV most likely to exceed 200,000 miles, roughly 3 times the rate of the average luxury SUV. That is not a marketing claim. That is statistical reality from tracking millions of vehicles, and it underscores the RX's reliability. Here is your inspection checklist. First, check for any signs of dashboard stickiness. Some 2016 to 2018 models had dashboard softening issues in hot climates. Lexus extended coverage on this, but confirm it has been addressed. Second, test every single electronic feature. The RX is loaded with tech, and the remote touch infotainment interface can develop glitches. Not a mechanical problem, but annoying if you cannot live with it. Third, inspect the undercarriage for any aftermarket skid plate damage. The RX is not meant for off-road use. Anyone who took it off-road also probably skipped oil changes. Fourth, and this is the pro move, prioritize examples with clean Carfax records from coastal states where road salt is minimal. The RX has zero frame or underbody rust issues when kept out of harsh winter environments. The RX is the luxury SUV you buy if you want to basically stop thinking about car repairs for the next decade. Quiet, comfortable, legitimately luxurious, and statistically the most reliable vehicle in its entire class. If you want a safe bet, stop here. But the number one SUV on this list is in a different category entirely. This one will not just last 10 years. It will last 3 decades if you let it. Number 1, the Lexus GX 460. This is the SUV I have personally recommended to more customers than any other luxury vehicle in my entire career, and it is the one customers push back on the hardest until they realize what they are actually looking at. 3 years ago, a successful dentist came into my shop. He was in his 50s, married with 2 kids, and he wanted to replace his aging Range Rover Sport that had just cost him $7,200 for an air suspension and transfer case repair. He was looking at a new Range Rover lease, and he wanted me to talk him out of it or into it. I walked him outside and pointed to a 2014 Lexus GX 460 sitting in my customer parking area. It belonged to a guy who had owned it since new. It was now at 198,000 miles, and it had just come in for its annual oil change and tire rotation, $300 out the door. The dentist asked how much a used GX cost. I pulled up listings. A clean 2015 GX 460 with 75,000 miles was listed for $32,000. He said that was still a lot of money. I told him that it is the last time he would ever spend real money on this vehicle. He will drive it for 15 years and sell it for $15,000 in 2040. He bought one the next month. He has 94,000 miles on it now. The total repair cost to date is $612. That was for a brake job and 2 oil changes he did somewhere other than my shop. Here is why the GX 460 is, in my professional opinion, the single best long-term ownership proposition in the entire luxury SUV market. This vehicle is, mechanically speaking, a Toyota Land Cruiser Prado with Lexus leather. It is body-on-frame, full-time 4-wheel drive, with a Torsen limited-slip center differential and a 4.6-liter 1UR FE V8 under the hood that was engineered to run at sustained high loads in desert climates across the Middle East for 30 years. The 1UR FE V8 produces 301 horsepower and is so under-stressed in this application that failures are genuinely rare. I know a fleet operator in Arizona with a GX at 420,000 miles on the original engine and original transmission. That is not a typo. 420,000 miles, naturally aspirated, timing chain, port injection, cast iron cylinder liners in an aluminum block. This engine was designed for places with no dealer networks where a broken vehicle can mean a life-threatening situation. Toyota does not mess around with Land Cruiser platforms. The 6-speed automatic is a variant of the Kaizen AB60 transmission, the same unit used in the Tundra and Land Cruiser. I have never seen one fail from normal use. I have seen them abused by people towing 8,000 pounds up mountain grades, and they survived. Here is where I need to change your perspective. You might be thinking, a 2015 SUV for $32,000, that is insane. I could buy a new Kia for that. You can, and your Kia will be worth $7,000 in 2035. The GX 460 you buy today for $32,000 will be worth $18,000 to $22,000 in 2035 based on current depreciation curves. The cheapest vehicle to own is not the cheapest vehicle to buy. It is the one that holds value and refuses to break. Repair costs, the numbers that might surprise you. Brake job, all 4 wheels, $480. Spark plugs, all 8, $320, because they are accessible V8 spark plugs, not buried under a turbo manifold. Transmission fluid service, $220. Water pump, if it ever fails, $650. These are not exotic repairs. This is truck engineering wearing a tuxedo. Here is your buyer's inspection guide. First, check the KDSS suspension system on 2014 and later models. This is a hydraulic sway bar system, and while it is reliable, when it fails, repair costs climb to $2,500. Raise a front corner with a jack. If the opposite rear wheel lifts slightly, the system is functioning. If nothing moves, something is leaking. Second, inspect the rear air suspension on premium trim models. Airbags last about 120,000 miles. Budget $1,400 for replacement if they are showing sag. Third, check the timing cover for any oil seepage. It is not a failure point per se, but it tells you whether the vehicle has been driven hard or babied. Fourth, look for the full-size spare tire underneath and confirm the rear barn door hinges are solid. These are small details that tell you how well the vehicle was maintained. Fifth, prioritize one-owner examples from dealerships or older original owners. The GX attracts a specific buyer, and that buyer tends to maintain it obsessively. Who should buy this SUV? If you want to buy one luxury vehicle and drive it until you retire, the GX 460 is literally the only vehicle I would confidently recommend for that purpose. If you live somewhere with real winter weather, or you actually use an SUV for what SUVs were designed for, the GX has legitimate off-road capability that the RX and MDX simply do not. If you tow a boat, a camper, or a horse trailer, the body-on-frame construction rated for 6,500 pounds makes this the most capable luxury SUV you can buy for reasonable money. Who should skip it? If fuel economy matters to you, the GX gets 15 miles per gallon in the city and 19 miles per gallon on the highway. That is the cost of a V8 truck platform. If you want nimble handling, this is not that. It drives like a truck because it is one. And if you need a third row that adults can use, the GX third row is strictly kid-sized. The big Lexus LX is what you want for serious three-row duty, but that is a different budget. My final take on the GX 460. This is the closest thing to a buy-it-for-life vehicle currently available on the used luxury market. 15 years from now, you will still be driving yours, and every Range Rover, Mercedes GLE, and BMW X5 from the same year will be long gone to junkyards or repair money pits. The GX is not flashy. It is not the fastest. It is not the best handling. It is just the one that refuses to quit. Final thoughts. So there you have it. 3 luxury SUVs that prove the phrase cheap. Luxury is not an oxymoron when you know what you are looking at. The Acura MDX, the Honda Pilot in formal wear, which can hit 250,000 miles on timing belt services alone. The Lexus RX 350, statistically the most reliable luxury SUV on the road, with annual repair costs lower than most economy cars. And the Lexus GX 460, the Toyota Land Cruiser in disguise, that will still be running when our grandkids are buying electric scooters. Next time a dealer tries to push you toward a certified, pre-owned European luxury SUV with a tempting price tag, you will know exactly what you are looking at: a short-term lease return that someone else decided to cut their losses on. If you want to see which luxury brands mechanics genuinely trust and which ones we quietly avoid, I put together a video on the worst repair cost offenders in the luxury market. The numbers will change your next car search completely. Hit subscribe for more honest car advice from someone who actually fixes these things for a living. 22 years under hoods has taught me one thing above all: the cheapest luxury SUV to own is almost never the cheapest one to buy. Take care of the right vehicle, and it takes care of you. I will see you in the next one.